Hello YouTube, this is Forza Pretender and welcome to a challenge involving this beauty of a car, the Porsche 919. Now, in real life, if you didn't see it a few weeks ago, this car, they basically created a version to see how quick this chassis could go. Basically built a car to no regulations, turned up the wick on the engine, they put super high downforce on it, and just to test how quick that chassis could go, and it beat the Formula 1 lap record around Spa, which set in qualifying at the race last year, I think by Lewis Hamilton. So I've set a challenge. I'm going to try and beat that time, beat a time from an F1 car in a Porsche 919 by using the upgrade system. Now, as we watch this beautifully liveried Hesketh going around the circuit, beautifully Hesketh liveried F1 car going around the circuit. Basically, I gave an F1 car 3 laps because I'm not that quick a driver, and I know some sim racers like Jimmy Broadbent would probably just try and beat the real life lap time. In fact, I've seen him do that. I don't have that ability. I'm about 5 seconds off the pace on Forza, and the cars on Forza drive a bit weird anyway. For instance, there seems to be less friction when you're driving normally. Hence the gear ratios feel really short, and the top speed still feels the same. So this was the quickest lap I set with the Formula 1 car, and it just keeps everything nice and controlled as well, and it means I can compare my driving to real times. So you can see now we've come through the Source hairpin. Now coming on the run down to Eau Rouge, you can see now we're trying to carry the speed. This corner, even on games, feels absolutely monstrous and scary. We get a wheel on the grass, which I think helps us get turned a little bit. And you can see now, it's not the cleanest lap. Also, I was running with tyre wear on this. Basically, the point of this challenge is using the features on the game, such as Forza upgrade system, using a lot of the other features that this game has to see, you know, if within the rules of the game we can make this legitimately go quicker than a Formula 1 car. Admittedly, not all that legitimate when you see some of the things I'm doing later on. You can see now we're on sector 2, which is the high downforce sector, and you can just see the speed and how quickly we can gain it as we have a little bit of a tap of the wall coming towards Puan corner. You can see now it was so quick, it's hard to keep up really with the pace of this car over the lap. And you can see now we're coming through the chicane towards the end of sector 2. This is, I think, the lowest part of the circuit, I'm pretty sure. As we are heavy braking there, because it starts going slightly uphill again now. You can just about notice it as we're driving. That we're gradually coming up. I'd hate to have to walk or cycle it. To be fair, I am probably going to be walking this part of the track soon, because I am doing the Spa GP this year. But you can see now braking nicely at the curb point, and I want to point out there for the later reference, coming into the bus stop chicane. We're getting the power down now, and we're going to see what kind of lap we can set. So I've put some lap times on for comparison here. The Porsche 919 Evo, the real life Porsche 919 that broke the record, set at 141.77. The real life Formula 1 pole is about 7 tenths away from that, and the real life Le Mans pole is 155.793. Now you can see my driving, I'm about 5 seconds slower than real life. I set a time of 147.1 in the Formula 1 car, so I'm about 4.5 seconds off the pace. So you might expect the gaps to be relatively similar. The real life gaps are about 13 seconds. You'd expect about, on this first lap, considering I haven't tuned the car, to be about the same. Now, because I was doing it from a standing start and I was doing it in race mode, so we could look at the leaderboards, you will notice on the first laps, like the first lap of anything like this, you're going to push that extra bit hard to find out, well, can I brake this bit later? Can I do this? And can I go full throttle through this corner? You're not going to hold back on that lap. You'll hold back on a little bit on the second or third laps. But you can see now we pushed too hard, and I had to use a handbrake to make sure I didn't hit the wall, because at this point I was running the standard car and I was running with damage and tyre wear and that, so I probably burned the life out of the tyres doing that. But funny enough, the lap after, that was just me overcooking it, trying to see what I can do. And you will see that there was a bit of a jolt. I did use rewind. I have no shame in saying I do that, because I'm not that great a driver. If I'm playing Forza, I tend to be relaxing a bit more, and because it's arcade, rewind's there. I want to give this car a fair shot of beating Formula 1 car. You can see there we've messed it up for a rouge. I think the car gets a little bit airborne. You know, I just seem to get on its free wheels a little bit as we went over a bump. You can see now we're coming towards the end of the first sector. And this corner, because I think we're carrying less speed, we can sort of brake at the same point as the Formula 1 car. You will notice, yeah, it looks a bit like it's in. I don't know if it's because I'm sitting on the left-hand side, but through some of the right-handers it seems a bit understeering. It might just be me. This corner, I just couldn't get a sweet lead in this car. And you can see, you can just tell by the feel of it that we're a lot slower than the Formula 1 car. There's a couple of corners in particular I noticed it, that we didn't have the pace, and that was certainly one of them, that hairpin. And P1, you'll notice the chronic understeer. I'm trying to turn in at the same point as the Formula 1 car here, and the car just won't turn. I'm having to lift a little bit there, I think. I can't hear the engine note, actually. But yeah, we're coming to the chicane towards the end of sector 2. And yeah, we seem pretty good. You know, this, you know, for a Le Mans car, seems pretty good. I think the big issue is going to be me, like being consistent. I think we don't have the hybrid system, which will favour against the Porsche more than the F1 car, because the hybrid system makes a difference of about 400 horsepower in this, which is 2/3 of the standard one. So you know, we haven't got that. We go to full throttle and we're using a 1000 horsepower mode with the hybrid system. Not many games have that, and I certainly wouldn't expect it from Forza being a simcade, as opposed to like a proper simulator like Assetto Corsa or like any other games. But it benefits Porsche more than the Formula 1 car having that hybrid system. But anyway, we're through the bus stops chicane clean this time, and this was the quickest lap we set. It was a 2:04.697. Now we've got 16 or 17 seconds to find. I didn't expect the gap to be that big, to be honest. I knew I kind of had my work cut out at this point, but so I thought, right, we're going to have a look at the upgrades. Because I remember on Forza Motorsport 4, the standard restrictor was the more restricting one, and you could remove the restrictor plate altogether, get a couple hundred horsepower out of it. And then I realised, because I was running this car stock rather than homologation, it didn't have the it had the best restrictor plate on it. And yeah, so the only thing I could actually do, and I was really surprised about this, the only thing I could actually do is make the tyres 60mm wider. Might make a big difference. We'll wait and see. But yeah, we've got 17 seconds to find. It's at the end of the day, the car will have to run sort of remotely like an LMP1 car. It's not like the Porsche 919 Evo. I mean, it didn't even have headlights. I'm not even sure if it had mirrors. Not that the mirrors have any drag in this, as I realised when driving it later on in a race. Yeah, I found this thing called friction assist. Basically means that there's no effect from friction from going off the track, so you can run at full speed off the track because the coefficient of friction of like the gravel and that is the same as on the road, which is completely impossible. The other thing I've done is I'd turned off damage just because of the tyre wear setting. I also had tuned the setup for this car, and once again, because I put more downforce on the car, I thought I'd be able to brake a bit later in this car, and I still couldn't. It's a little bit better at pulling up. I certainly didn't have the big spin that I had before, but yeah, I don't know if that's virtue to the setup or just the issue, like, you know, just me driving a little bit better, being a bit more realistic in this car. But that was once again the first lap, just trying to test what we can do. And I really struggled. I put it down to my setup. I put it down to the fact that I'm not very good at the whole tuning thing, and this was the fastest legitimate lap I set. And you can see now we're coming through to the bus stop chicane. I haven't shown the whole lap with this one. You'll see why in a minute. Because you know, at this point, the point I've sort of cut onto, the Formula 1 time is well gone. Really, I was feeling a bit disheartened at this point. And especially when I went 2 seconds slower. I set a 2.06.7 there, which is yeah, not very good. But later on, this is on the final lap, you'll kind of see the benefits of the friction assist in a minute. I kind of tried to drive it like the Project Cars handling system. I kind of forgot what game I was on a little bit there, and completely cut that corner. But because of the friction assist, look at the speed I'm carrying over it. I've got the replay of it here. Like, I would have used a rewind at that point, but because of the friction assist, because it actually was making me go quicker, I thought, you know what, I've kind of cheated a bit on this lap. I would have definitely got a penalty in real life for that. I wanted to just see what I can do. And then I thought, I tried to take the bus stop properly, and then realised I couldn't because I'd overshot it. But I shot it I'd overshot it, but not enough to, you know, miss the gap in the barrier. So I used that to my advantage. You can see I just completely outbrake. I thought, you know, if I can get it turned in nicely. I forgot it's more of like 2 hairpins put together rather than a normal chicane. And I sort of just had enough speed to carry that sort of cheated on. But I went quicker by doing it. I went about 3 seconds quicker because of the friction assist when I went off the circuit a couple of times. Yeah. So now, this was the last run. I removed the setup. I'd already set 2 laps, and this was the final one. I was really desperate to get a good lap time in this time. I'd been working hard for it. I'd done everything I could, and yeah, this was it, the last run. I'd been filming for. I had to do things to get the credits to buy this car, and so I'd been working on this setup for a good hour or 2 in my spare time. And I was just desperate to get a good run, and we slightly messed it up once again for Eau Rouge. But at this point I was really urging the car on. I was shouting, come on, you can do this. And I've got to admit, in particular in this lap, I'm almost a bit sentimental about it. I filmed this about a week ago, the actual driving. And I've got to be honest, I'm really sentimental about this, because I was really urging the car on. I was like, come on, you can do this. So I was really getting into it. And although it's not my style of video making, I'm only really doing this because it's a challenge. Although it's not my kind of thing normally, I've got really into the idea of doing hot lapping challenges, and it might be something I'll do in the future. Who knows? It's like the top 5 and top 10s are more sustainable for other reasons on this channel, but this could certainly be something I'll look at doing a bit more in the future. And yeah, I did use a flashback towards the end of P1 because before I had messed up this chicane, but like I said, I was really urging the car, especially in this last sector. I just wanted it to be a good lap time. And at this point, I kind of knew that we weren't going to be challenging the F1 car. I mean, 20 seconds to do this final sector was looking a little bit impossible, to be honest. But I just wanted to give it as good a shot as I could. And, you know, this car doesn't have the acceleration of the Formula 1 car. I do think the Formula 1 car drives a little bit weird in this. But I want to keep it on Forza to use the same sort of comparison. But yeah, now we're coming up to the final couple of corners. Just about getting it right through the bus stop chicane. And now this is it now, the final push to the line. Is it going to be an improvement? We've certainly not beat the F1 car, but is it going to be an improvement on our lap time? And you can see there we set a time of 2:02.629. So overall we've increased our lap time by 2 seconds if you don't include the cheating lap time. And even with the upgrades, the gap between the Formula 1 car and the LMP1 is about what it is in real life. And I was interested, like we got nowhere near the Porsche Revo time, but you can see the improvement that we've made. You can have. I just want to have a look at this for comparison. This is the Porsche 919 versus the F1 car at roughly the same point through that hairpin I mentioned earlier, and you can see the Formula 1 car's 15 miles an hour quicker. It just has so much more downforce. And that's when you can't replicate on Forza without losing straight line speed, as opposed to when they can turn the restrictors off altogether in real life. And I had a look at leaderboards afterwards, and I realised the quickest X-Class car that wasn't a Formula 1 car, not when I looked in non-homologated, it was a 1:49.9. I think this is in the LMP categories, the quickest one that came up. So yeah, nowhere near. And the quickest Porsche 919 was also some distance off. So really, I think it was a bit far-fetched to think. I just presumed the upgrade system would be a bit stronger when I came up with this idea. So, thank you for watching this video. This has been Forza Potenza. If you've enjoyed it, please feel free to like this video, share it to anyone you know who might be interested, and subscribe to the channel. Also check out my blog where I talk about all things motorsport. This has been Forza Potenza. Thanks for watching, and I shall see you next time. Bye!